Hi guys, this is Anna Finch from Finch Press. Welcome back to my channel. So we're going to do some live writing sprints today. I'll probably end up doing 3 sprints. So I'll probably the stream will go for about an hour. So how'd you guys go with NaNoWriMo, Camp Nano? How'd you go with it? Hello. Welcome. Made to 32K. That's awesome. Well, welcome to the new viewer. That's awesome. I got the words that I needed done. I put 60,000 for my word count for Camp Nano. I got the words I needed, but not all of them were for my story. A lot of it was paperwork. Like half of it was my paperwork. My story's sitting at 30,000-ish words. But I got the 60,000 words as well. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? How'd your month go? I've been so busy with so many streams. My youngest has been very ill and in the emergency room with migraines many times in the last 10 days. Oh my god. I hope your youngest is feeling better. I hope your youngest is feeling better and they... Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I hope they get better and I hope they don't have to be in the emergency room again. My month went okay. Like I thought, the first few weeks of Nano, the first 2-ish weeks of Nano, I was able to get the most work done for my story. Last 2 weeks, I came back to school. I pretty much had no time to write my story. I had to do my paperwork. So had to do that instead of my story. So hopefully today I can get something for my story done. But yeah, I hope your kid gets better. Were you able to meet your word goal for the month? That's it. Sorry, I'm just fixing these in. That's good. How's autumn going? Uh, it's still, I mean, we've started having some colder days, which is good. But like seriously, it's today. I look out my window. It's sunny. It's like bright and sunny. The past few weeks, despite being autumn, it'd be cold at night, maybe a bit chilly in the morning, but the rest of the day it's just warm and sunny, which is odd for autumn here. I would normally expect more rain, but yeah, I mean the weather is good, but it's weird for this time of year. Anyway. All right. Okay. Okay. Would you guys like to start with 15 minutes or 20-minute writing sprint? Welcome to the new viewer. Spring here is crazy. 29 degrees today, and you're expecting snow on Monday night. What the hell? What the hell is with the weather, man? It's just it's topsy turvy. It's like everything's confused. Confused. I'm game to get the words. Cool. Um, you know what? We'll do 20 minutes to start with. I'm gonna need that time to um get into the writing. So we'll do 20 minutes to start with. Okay. Well, oh, um, I don't know if anyone needs it. Oh, the pro writing rate offer already expired. Damn. Um, that's alright. I didn't know it expired. Otherwise, I would have given people my code for pro writing aid. All right, so let's do 20 minutes to start with, and see how many words we can get. All right, let's start now. Okay. So I didn't get any words, but I did get some editing done for the story. And I reread the last chapter I wrote. I'm trying to think of what I need to do next in that bit. Because I just read through it. I'm like, there's this bit that is it's similar to a scene in Supernatural. Like in Supernatural, the first time Dean meets Castiel after he's been taken out of hell, he's constantly asking Castiel, why did he do it? Why did he save him? And Cass goes, you don't think you deserve to be saved? And he just asks why again, because he truly doesn't think he's worth saving. And I try to get that point across here, because I actually use the line, you don't think you deserve to be saved. At least my character admits she thinks that. She has depression, my character. Possibly she has depression, PTSD, depression, PTSD. I don't know if she has anxiety, but she does have PTSD and depression. So trying to get that across without making the story too depressing is a challenge, especially considering both characters that are my POV characters are in the same situation. Both of them have depression. Both of them have severe depression. In one case, one of them's dealing with it and actually he's getting help. The other one, he's not getting any help. His depression's undiagnosed. One of them has PTSD at the beginning, and the other one, actually both of them have PTSD. So both of them have serious mental illness, but one of them's getting help, one of them's not, and trying to convey how one is getting better and one is just like getting worse and worse is interesting. Hey, 192, but I had to research the value of pounds of precious metals in Spanish Isabel doubloons. Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't get any words, but I did edit that last chapter that I wrote because I need to remember it. So she has low self-esteem. Does she also have survivor's guilt too? Yes. Because in the first novel, you find out that she was basically sold off into an arranged marriage by her grandfather and basically kept prisoner. And all her sisters, except her youngest, were basically either being sold off, imprisoned in the dungeons, or murdered. And the fact that she's alive when her younger sister that she grew up with isn't, makes her feel guilty. And the fact that she thinks she's the reason why all her other sisters were thrown into arranged marriages or into cells or killed. She has some real survivor's guilt to do with that. She's also got a lot of anger issues. Because she doesn't want to deal with her issues. She just has a lot of anger at everything around her, and she's trying to push the stuff away, but she's going to therapy. So every time she tries to push it away, it gets brought back up in therapy. And yeah. Hey, welcome. That's all right. That's fine. Don't worry. A lot of survivors feel they aren't worth saving or have value because they don't know why they lived and escaped and others didn't. Yeah, that's her point of view. She definitely feels like that. Because basically her story, her background is basically Little Mermaid gone wrong. Basically she was basically inspired. She's basically the original tale. she's the Little Mermaid gone wrong. Basically, she gets the guy, she falls in love, but then she gets caught by the king, who's her grandfather at that point. And she ends up developing a mindset, because there's magic involved, but she ends up developing a mindset like that she thinks she's the cause, or that she's the reason why that her grandfather went after her sisters. Yeah, and she's like constantly dealing with that. And I just wrote a whole chapter. It was supposed to be like a three-way fun conversation between the main character, the character's younger sister who freed them, and the person who freed them, their boyfriend. It's supposed to be like a funny sort of scene. They just have a brief discussion on whether or not the female protagonist wants to go on a date. And the male, like the boyfriend, doesn't turn up, and it's just two sisters, and it's just them talking and just finally talking about some of their issues. She hasn't talked about that a lot, but it's a start for her, and it's good. She's actually starting to deal with it in small ways. There's going to be a whole bunch of issues. Alright. Hi, Clutcher. Yeah, so so she's dealing with that. The male POV character, I mean, he's both a protagonist and an antagonist. It depends on how you view him. He he's originally the antagonist for the female character's story in this book. He's not the real villain, but he's the antagonist, because he does a lot of things that negatively affect the other character. Not because he wants to, it's just he's in a crappy situation. It's basically either do this thing or die. And he's also got a whole bunch of trauma from what happened in his past, and not being able to see his family, having to be in hiding from someone who wants him dead. And it's just, both of them have depression, but one of them I think is slightly suicidal. Yeah, people don't realize that sometimes in abusive families, some siblings will suffer all the abuse while others are barely abused or not abused at all. Yeah, that is what happened. Like, the absolute youngest sister, she was raised differently to the four older sisters, and treated differently. She had more freedoms, but she didn't think she was loved. There was, in her mind, in that character's mind, there was barely any abuse, whereas the older siblings were more strictly controlled. I mean, they're thousands of years older, but they were more strictly controlled. They were limited in what they could do. Pretty much everything about their life was controlled. It was only in the last few years of their life that they started to seek things outside of their realm. Yeah, and like what is it? I mean, the character's boyfriend. So, Mariah, she's the main character from my first novel. Her boyfriend Michael actually comes from an abusive family, and Mariah understands that what the behavior the parents are doing is wrong, because she cares about Michael. But had it not been someone she cared about, she may not have thought it was abuse. She wouldn't have thought it, because it was something that happens in her culture, that people were abused, particularly women. It was just something that happened in her culture. And sometimes she just tries to rationalize it. even when she's experiencing the abuse and the emotional abuse, at least, she tries to rationalize it. It gets to the point that her boyfriend, he's just like, no, you've got to listen. This is wrong. What you're seeing is wrong. And it's just like not going through her head until she's in a situation where she's actually experiencing the same thing her sisters did, or at least the beginnings of what her sisters did. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I like writing these sort of characters because it's interesting to go over to see how they grow. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how I'm going to get this done. The story. I'm only 30,000 words in, and I'm still in the beginning. No, just past the first act, I think. But yeah, writing about trauma is interesting because the way people react to it is interesting. I'll probably end up writing a book per sister that's still alive in the series. Because I want to explore their stories. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Let's do the second sprint. Would you like to do 15 or 20 minutes? Hey, welcome to the new viewer. Alright, and they disappeared. So if I do 15, 20 minutes, I ran a lot of trauma recovery too. I got upset when I discovered the editor took my trigger warnings out of the book. She didn't understand why they were necessary. Yeah, I put trigger warnings in my book as well. I put them at the end. I forgot to put them at the front. I ended up putting them on the inside of my dust jacket for the hardcover, because I mean, I only just touch on the topics in the first book, and more focused on the recovery aspect, but they still need to be warned because that might still trigger them. I'd love to be from a world where I didn't need trigger warnings or understand the need for trigger warnings, but alas, I live in the real world. Yeah, it's the same. Like this book I'm writing, I will definitely have to put trigger warnings on the front. Probably I'll have to put it in like a front, in one of the front pages, probably on the blurb as well, because this one is more, I'm going more in depth into the recovery, and I'm directly touching on serious issues. I'm directly talking about serious issues through the character's recovery. Whereas the first book, I'm just lightly touching on it, or it's implied. And there is a bit of recovery by the end, but it's more the trauma in the first book directly is more emotional and more based on warfare. Because this 18-year-old girl has to leave the army and win and kick her grandfather off the throne, basically. But this one, because it's more a violence directed at a person, and like I've got students in my class that would be triggered with this stuff, and they do know about my writing, and I don't want them to pick it up and be triggered by it, because my students know I'm writing. They know they found out my book and all that, and my author name, and I know that some of them will pick it up, especially this second one. If there's no trigger warnings, it will really upset them. It may impact them in a negative way, and I don't want that. So, because I generally write my stories. I think language-wise, like year 9 level max. Most of my writing is accessible for like year 7 level literacy, which is basically like the beginning of high school here in Australia. I think it's middle school for the US, Canada. I have them on the front and on the chapters and links to get help in the back. Yeah, I put in the original book, in my first book, I put them at the back in the I don't know if it's the acknowledgements or the author note or something, and I actually put links to specific websites and phone numbers to things like Beyond Blue and for survivors and stuff of abuse and all that, and for those who need mental health support. I put the links for that and the numbers in the back as well. I've got to remember to put it in the front, so it's the first thing they see when they look at the previews online, so that they know that if it's something that will affect them, not to get it. Yeah, I still can't believe they took out the trigger warnings. I mean, I don't get why. I mean, one of the books I read, Damsel, I can't remember who the author's name was. I mean, the book wasn't bad, but there were some things in there that would upset people, that are directly connected to things that may have happened to people, and there were no trigger warnings on there. Surface Breaks has a lot of issues with sexual assault in there, and I don't think there were any trigger warnings. At the very least, with Damsel, at the bookstore, they slapped an 18 plus sticker on it. But Surface Breaks, it's literally in the YA section, and there's no trigger warnings, I think, in anything. Yeah. I wish they weren't necessary, but they are. Oh. Recovery training is still such a broad thing to do. Put a note in encouraging people to get help in all my author notes. Yeah, I try to do that as well. Particularly because the issues I put in my stories, they are directly, they're things that my students or that young people experience a lot. So depression is a big thing that that students of people the same age as my students experience. The issues, things like of abuse and all that sort of stuff, they're things that they experience and they need help. So if one of them picks up my book and at least can get access to the help, it would be worth it. And it was a big one because the MC sees her stepfather sexually assaulting her sister when their mother comes in and murders them both while MC's hiding in the closet. Yeah, that definitely needs a trigger warning, because sexual assault is a big issue. And it would definitely need a warning on there. Like, because like some people who have experienced sexual assault might be able to pick up a book, especially if they're in the later stages of recovery. And if the writing's not explicit, they might be able to pick it up and read it, okay, and it might help. But someone who's probably in the early stages of recovery or who has only recently experienced the trauma will want to avoid it at all costs. I know one person who is trying to avoid it in real life, and one person who is just doesn't want to deal with, who's trying to deal with it and work out why things are happening and how the law system or legal system will deal with it. But yeah, that definitely needs a warning. I don't understand why they would remove it. I don't know why they would remove the warning from it. It makes sense, especially for that. I understand, like, maybe not putting a warning on for, like, for things like maybe just general assault or maybe direct violence, like action, like violence, like on a war scale. I can understand why someone might not put trigger warnings for that, but something like sexual assault, any issues like that need to have a trigger warning because there are people in the community who deal with this stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I don't get them. I mean, like if you go and there's this editing company. There's this editing company here in Australia where when you send the book for editing, you actually have to include any trigger warnings, anything that could incite violence, anything that could make the reader uncomfortable. You actually have to state it in the form to apply to get your thing edited. So they can send it to an editor that is okay with those particular issues. And if you don't put those warnings in and the editor gets it, well, you're not going to get your book edited. They will not allow you to get it edited because you would have lied. I did not get graphic, just the girl overhearing it, but still it's a horrible thing for a child to witness or experience. Yeah, it's definitely something horrible, and it's something that they will remember for the rest of their lives, and that will affect the way they view relationships, especially at a young age. Seeing things like this will affect the way they view everything that happens. Said she has a life where things haven't happened to her or anyone she knows. I can't imagine being that sheltered. Yeah, I know. Like, I don't know. Are you self-published or traditionally published? Because I think at least with self-publishing, you can add the warnings back in. Otherwise, next time you hire an editor, I would probably just make a note. Because most of them won't touch the trigger warnings. I'll probably just make a note saying, do not remove any trigger warnings, only correct things like grammar or spelling. And just don't, and so that they know not to touch it so they know not to remove it. Just to stop it from happening again. But still. Okay. All right. Let's start the second writing sprint, and I'll probably do one more sprint after this. We'll do a 20-minute, and then we'll do a 10-minute one. Okay. All right. So let's start now. Mute myself. I got 115 words that round. I actually wrote something. Yay! Yeah. Okay. You have one series with an indie house and I self-published with the warnings. Asked for them to be put back in the second edition. Oh, so they took the warnings out of the one that you published with the indie house. Okay. Have they do you know if they're gonna put it in the second edition? Yeah. Oh, I just found I don't know if you've heard this band Citizen Soldier, but I literally just went cruising through YouTube a couple of days ago, or rather it just popped up as like the next song on my feed, and I just started listening to it, and I just started listening to more and more songs by the band, and I'm like, oh my god, these are my characters. Um, yeah, they've got a lot of songs, and I'm like, this is like current. This is probably my character's theme song. um, that and it's oh my god, some of them I'm like, yeah, that was me. That's that's what I was like, or what I felt like. Um, there's a song, "I'm Not Okay." It's by Citizen Soldier. It's a really good song. I mean, the songs are all really good. I don't think I found one that I didn't like, and I'm just like the lyrics. It's just oh, it's basically the male POV character. It's basically his theme song. Um, and it's just like 292 and the wind has started, which means my internet is getting iffy. We'll probably do one more sprint. But yeah. Well, I'm glad you're able to get those words in. Yeah. I don't know. Have you heard of Citizen Soldier, the band? If you haven't heard their songs, I suggest you check them out. The music is really good. Honestly, it hits a bit too close to home, some of them. But yeah, I was able to write that while I was listening to the songs. It's kind of why I was nodding my head as I was writing. Yeah, but the song "I'm Not Okay" by Citizen Soldier and "Sacred." And "Would Anyone Care?" They're like the three that are just hitting a bit too close when it comes to not just the characters but my own POV. All right. Okay. So I'll do one more sprint. It'll just be for 10 minutes because I need to actually go buy some stuff. I'm making apple pie because my workplace brought massive boxes of apples and pears and like fruit cups as well for the students. But they bring so much, and because they brought it at the end of the week, we don't know if they're going to be okay by the weekend. So I like took some of them because it was free. So I've got a whole like container full of apples and pears. And my mum ended up getting guava or washava from a friend as well on top of that. So it's just like we've got 3 sets of fruits that are just so much that we've got to make something of it. So yeah, I'm gonna probably make apple pie, apple and guava pie, just so I can get rid of some of that extra fruit. Yeah. Give me a minute to catch up. I'm lagging. Yeah, no worries. Um, Welcome. Welcome, David. This is actually the last writing sprint for today. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this is the last writing sprint. Hopefully I'll go longer next week. But I'm trying to think what day it was. I mean, it's some point in May. Got to find it. There's a particular date in May where I can't do the live stream on the Sunday because work is making me go to a conference, a staff conference, on Sunday and Monday. It's like an hour. It's an hour plus drive. Okay, the 22nd of May. I can't do the live stream on the 22nd of May, so that one is probably going to be on the Saturday, the 20th. Oh no, hold up, sorry, 23rd of May is the Sunday. I'll probably have to do the live stream on the 22nd of May instead, which is a Saturday. This is Australian time, because otherwise I won't be able to do it. Okay, so let's start the last writing sprint. Okay, that was the last sprint. How many words did I get? Oh, I got 141 words this round. That's good. I got more this round than last round in less time, which is good. I was into that I was pretty much into that scene. That and the help the song I was listening to fits with the scene. I'm currently obsessed with Citizen Soldier and their music. It's really good and it really fits with the story. So yeah, I do recommend you check them out. Their music is phenomenal. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, it's a little bit rock songy. A lot of the songs have a bit of like a rock sort of sound, music sort of sound, but they have like softer music as well. It's really good. How'd you guys go? How'd you guys go for the sprint? You got food? That's all right. How did everyone else go with the writing? I'm just looking to see what other live streams there will be later on today. But pretty much all the other ones that are on later on today are literally just when I go to bed. Or maybe I can wake up a little bit early before I go to work tomorrow. Anyway, so that was the last sprint. I hope everyone was able to get some words in. Yeah, so I will be doing I'll be doing live streams every Sunday. I'll be trying to for live writing sprints because I need to get words in, and I think other people do too. I think it's the 23rd of May. This is Australian time. I won't be able to do the live stream because I have to go to a staff conference that goes for 2 days, and it's a pain. Which means that I'll move it up to the Saturday, Australian time. So the live streams will be Sundays, 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I think it's around 10-ish. I don't know what time it is in the US. I think it might be around 10-ish. Yeah. So I'll see if I can get out another video. But I'm going to see if I can do another video before I go back to work tomorrow. Anyway, I hope you guys stay safe and you have a good weekend. All right.